So you're a student here? Obviously, you're a student here. If you went somewhere else, you would probably be there.
Yes, I probably would be there.
Not that that would be a bad thing. I mean, this place is nuts. It's like a horror movie. No, it's like that crazy nature video, and I'm constantly being attacked by horrible praying mantis boys who fart on each other all day. No wonder you do the silent lone wolf sunglasses rebel thing. Oh, this? It's a pancake mishap this morning.
No, I'm not looking at that.
Okay, then what are you looking at?
I'm looking at you.
Ew. Also, the fact that I had to say fart. Ugh. Hey, Val.
Hey, Al.
Welcome to D-Commentaries.
Thank you. Welcome to you, and welcome to your listeners. Welcome to our listeners.
Only my listeners.
Off to a great start. Today we're talking about Zapped.
And before we do that, Val, we have exciting news.
Oh yes, we have hit
9,000 downloads. And by the time this comes out, Val, happy 4-year anniversary.
Oh, thanks.
Wow, Val didn't even remember our anniversary, everyone.
I didn't.
Hear that? I have to say, this is the most committed thing I've ever done in my entire life.
You didn't know what you were signing up for when we first
Truly, I think this and like I've had a bra for this long, for maybe a little bit longer. I've never been committed to something this hard. So grateful to be here with you, Val.
I'm very grateful that you committed. Thanks for being
here. Thank you. Thanks.
Should we dive in?
We need to dive in so that we can immediately dive out.
Yes. Let's dive in so we can dive out. Zapped came out June 27th, 2014. So a full, basically 6 months after Cloud 9. Seems to be kind of the cadence moving forward. So
okay.
There we are. 2 a year.
Like a winter movie and a summer movie.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
This one was directed by Peter DeLuise, who I don't think has done any other DComs. He has directed episodes of Stargate, SG-1, R.L. Stein's Haunting Hour, Parked, Garage Sale Mystery, When Calls the Heart, and a number of Hallmark movies. It was written by, it was based on a novel called Boys Are Dogs.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, exactly. Written by Leslie Margolis. So this was her only screenwriting credit because it's, based on her novel.
Okay.
But what I can only assume are brothers, Bill Eddy and Matt Eddy, created the teleplay for this. And they both basically have identical resumes. They worked on Teen Beach 2, Monster High 1 and 2, and a show called Eureka. The cast is as follows.
Val.
Yep.
You'd be shocked to know that this book is rated 3.8 out of 5 on Goodreads, which on Goodreads, it's not awful. Yeah.
No, it's not. Maybe the book's better than the movie. Who knows?
4.3 on Amazon. I guess Amazon and...
Well, I'm assuming it's a YA book, right? Or
it is, book? Yes.
Yeah.
But, people can still rate it. They also have Girls Acting Catty. Everybody Bugs Out.
Oh, God.
And then
I don't even want to think about what those
she's
are.
She's written. Oh, my God. I'm losing brain cells. She's written a bunch of different books.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know why I'm so interested in...
Hey.
The novels.
Congrats on your successful career, Leslie Margolis.
Yes. We support you in your book writing career.
That's right. This cast is as follows. Zendaya played Zoe Stevens. You might remember her in a DCOM context from Frenemies. She's also in Shake It Up. She's one of the main characters in the Spider-Man franchise, the most recent one. She was in Casey Undercover. She was in The Greatest Showman, Dune, Euphoria, Challengers, and many music videos because she is a singer and, as evidenced by this movie, a dancer.
Mm-hmm. And I love that we finally had a Challengers shout out on this podcast as a Mike Feist stan. Thank you, Val.
Of course. I added it, I think, last time because you were upset that I forgot to include it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Chanel Harquail Ivsack.
I'm sorry, say all of that again.
Chanel Harquail Ivsack. Yep. Played Rachel, her friend, at school.
Okay.
She was also in Radio Rebel. She's been in episodes of R.L. Stein's Haunting Hour, as have a number of people in DCOMs of this era. She's in something called Incredible Crew. And more recently, she was on the Bletchley Circle San Francisco, which I knew about because I watched the original Bletchley Circle. But San Francisco is like not available to watch anywhere, which is very weird. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's some obscure streaming thing that I don't know for. Spencer Boldman played Jackson, the moody boy. He was in Lab Rats and Welcome to Chippendales, but he didn't have a huge resume.
And he's doing country music biopic.
Interesting.
Cool. What's on his Instagram. So good for him.
Nice. He has a very small face. Like his features are small for his face.
It's all right here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Amelia McCarthy played Taylor, who was the villain. Once again, hot popular girl who hates new girl. Mm-hmm. As if we haven't seen that enough. She was on a Nickelodeon show called Max and Shred. She's also in Zombies 1 through 3 and more recently something called SkyMed.
Okay.
Or Skimmed. I think it's SkyMed. I don't
know. No, it's SkyMed.
Okay. Adam DeMarco played Adam Thompson, Zendaya's stepbrother. Mm-hmm. He was in Radio Rebel. He was the love interest in Radio Rebel. He's also in Arctic Air, The Magicians, The Order, and The White Lotus.
Mm-hmm. I liked him in White Lotus. I think I talked about that last time.
Yes, you did.
He looks the same.
He does. He's ageless.
He hasn't changed at all.
I really think he's a very good actor and just used in very odd ways.
Yeah, I agree. Although I did enjoy his range in this movie.
Yeah, like a good contrast to the last movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I like him.
William Ainscough played Ben Thompson, one of the other stepbrothers. He was in something called Seed and Ready, Jet, Go, which I think was a cartoon. Alex Ponovich played Ted Thompson. He's the stepdad. He's a pretty prolific character actor. He was on, among many, 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 many other things, iZombie, Van Helsing, Hawkeye, and Snowpiercer, the show, not the movie. Lucia Walters played Jeannie Stevens, who is Zoe or Zendaya's mom. She's also a pretty prolific character actor. Some notables: Life Unexpected, Ties That Bind, a number of Christmas Hallmark movies, something called Haley Dean Mysteries, and more recently Virgin River and Goosebumps.
Oh, cool. She's working.
She is. Jedediah Goodacre played Trip, who is the one who fart attacks people and talks about himself in the third person. He... I don't know if you could hear that, but Allie's sighed very big. He is in the Descendants movies. He's also in the originals, The Order, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And then this was hilarious to me. Okay, he's in 2 different movies that are like a couple years apart from each other. They, as far as I can tell, are not in any way related to each other. One of them is called Marry, Fuck, Kill, and the other one is called Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
Larisa Tronco played Yuki, who was like the sidekick of the bad lady.
Mm-hmm.
She was in Make It Pop and The Order. A lot of people in The Order.
Is it Canadian?
Probably. That would be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then Samuel Patrick Chu played Charlie, who is Rachel's crush. He was also in Radio Rebel with her. He was in something called Level Up. He was also in some episodes of R.L. Stein's Haunting Hour, also in iZombie, but he stopped acting in 2019. And that is the cast. The synopsis is as follows. A bright student and talented dancer struggling with changes in life, including a new family and school, finds a phone app that magically allows her to control boys. You know, that's actually not a bad synopsis.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good for a bad movie.
For a bad movie. Speaking of which, segue, Al.
Yeah.
What were your first impressions of this movie?
Well, I watched this movie, Val, and I'm going to say it because my bosses don't listen to this podcast. And they're definitely not going to listen to this episode. I watched this movie when I was working from home. And I could not get my TV to pause. So something was up with Disney Plus yesterday.
Weird.
So I couldn't get it to pause. So every time I pause it, I'd have to like exit out of Disney Plus completely on my Apple TV and then log back in. And then like it was a mess. So after doing that like 3 times, I was like, I'm just going to have to let this play. And if I would have, I would have paused about 20 minutes in and watched in like 20-minute increments.
Yeah.
Because I do think that it got more tolerable throughout. But the beginning was so hard to watch. Mm-hmm. I'm giving this movie a 3 and 0.25.
Okay. Yep, that feels right.
Yeah, because sometimes you're like, I wanted to like this movie. This isn't one of those. I didn't really want to like this movie. And so you know what, everyone? I didn't. Val, first impressions.
Man, I was on such a high coming off of Cloud 9. I was so optimistic. Listening back to that episode now, I feel very naive that I thought we were on a string of positive movies. This was like, especially as you said in the beginning, every single decom trope that I hate. Yeah. Every single one. It was like every single character in this movie, including, I think, Zendaya, is a complete caricature. They are not a human person. Mm-hmm. I hate that. Like, I do not find that interesting or entertaining or funny, like boiling someone down to like nothing. And it just was dumb, in my opinion. I also hate, all the sort of splatter theater, like just constantly making messes and all the sound effects and all of this stuff. And it's like, it was also incredibly predictable. Like basically what I would like to boil this down to is that my biggest pet peeve with decoms in general is when they play to the bottom of their intelligence. Like they underestimate the people watching this movie and think to themselves, well, they're kids, so we're just going to make dumb fart jokes basically, and that'll be fun for them. Yeah. And I really resent that because like when I was a teenager or tween watching these movies, the ones that I loved were not those movies. Like I know that there at least some kids out there, maybe not all of them, but at least some kids out there need movies like Cloud 9 or like a lot of the early decoms that like are actual stories with the actual characters and relationships and like arcs and development. This one, there's an obvious moral, right? And there's an obvious metaphor and all of these things, but like, I don't know. I just did not enjoy this movie. And I feel that Disney has done Zendaya in these movies so dirty. Like both of the
she
movies
is so talented and here we are.
Such a good actor. And like, thank goodness, she has had this amazing career and like this didn't, affect her career in any way, but my goodness gracious, these are awful. Yeah. They give her nothing to do. Both she and her mom are just like wet blankets, basically, in this, who are surrounded by clowns. Like that's essentially what this movie is. And it's just disappointing. Disappointing is the word. Yeah. So that was my first impression. Al,
Yeah.
Did you find any favorite quotes or moments?
Thanks, Val. I have a couple quotes, maybe a moment. Okay. So this was a quote that was said to the side, but I captured it and I hold it in my heart, which is, Humphrey, you can't eat that. That's a pencil. Eat this instead. It's an eraser.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And they like didn't even have that at full volume.
It was sort of like throwaway.
Once saw the hijinks start, and Zendaya goes, "Boys are acting weird," and Rachel goes, "This is unusual. Why?" And they pan to a table of boys just doing this. And that was funny for me. I'm laughing so hard right now. I am literally throwing up in my brain. I hate that one, that I love it, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't remember the context of this, but maybe you will. She's my best friend. You mess with her, you mess with me. Have a good dating life. You remember that?
I think it was
toward the end for sure.
It was Rachel. It was either Rachel saying it to the blonde girl or vice versa, like Zoe saying it to on Rachel's behalf. I can't remember.
Oh, maybe she said it to the mean girl.
Yeah. Like one of them was talking to the mean girl about the other one. Yeah. I think it was Rachel when she, I don't think this is whatever. When she tackles
Who
her.
cares at this point?
Yeah. When you know what I'm talking about? Like at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Least favorite moments, the entire beginning. The shot from inside the fridge, spraying his entire face with sauce before school, and then the fart bomb from Trip. My favorite moment is when one of the kids on the dance team studied the haka.
Yeah.
Because I was on haka TikTok hard during the pandemic.
I love hakas. I think they're incredible. I was a little wary of a bunch of people who are not Maori doing a haka.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yes, it is.
But I think they were inspired by instead of copying entirely, if that makes sense. So I felt a little bit better about it.
Yes. Like the end result was definitely more inspired by, for sure. So thankfully they didn't just do a full blown haka at any point in this movie. That would have really sucked. But yeah, definitely hakas are very cool.
Very cool. Val, favorite quotes and moments?
Thanks, Al. I didn't write a ton of quotes. At one point, Rachel goes, basically any problem caused by boys, which is most problems, is solved, which is just accurate. Mm-hmm. And then the principal, who was 100% my favorite character. She was only in 1.5 scenes. She was so funny. And at one point, the popular girl who's the captain of the varsity dance team is in the office because Zendaya's character, who is basically the captain of the JV dance team, has basically gone to the principal and said, we're actually better. And so I think we should have a dance off to see who actually gets to go to the state competition, right? I'm getting into some spoiler territory, but you need that context for this quote to make any sense. Okay. And the principal's response to finding out that the JV team might be better than the varsity team, she says to the popular girl, why didn't you dump all the dance challenge people to the JV squad like all the other sports do?
My God.
But she says it in this kind of sing-songy, why didn't you dump all the dance challenge people to the JV squad like all the other sports do?
That's so funny. I liked her for the 2 seconds she was there.
She was very funny. And the way that she just utterly disappoints the popular girl in this moment is hilarious to me. And then I don't even know. Oh, I know what this context was. The little brother, he's trying to clean the oven at one point, and he says, I know you're back there, Dirt, having a little dirt party.
That's funny.
And then so I guess my favorite moment is probably the conversation between Adam DeMarco's character who is also named Adam in the movie, and Zoe, Zendaya's character, when they're kind of having this like quiet moment. It's like basically the only quiet moment in the entire movie. And it's like a lovely conversation about teenagers kind of reckoning with like their own shortcomings and like, I don't know, they both get vulnerable in this conversation, and it was like them actually getting to act a little bit. And I appreciated that. I also will give credit to the dad. There's a stepdad and Trip, who both, I think, played well with the idea of being trapped in a behavior that they couldn't get out of, that was not like, they couldn't figure out why they were doing something. And in both cases, like the way that they chose to kind of deal with that situation as an actor was very funny to me. Like I think they did a good job with what they were given in this situation. So I will give them credit for that. I thought it was a bold choice to have a post-credit scene and basically rip off Jumanji in that post-credit scene. I don't know if they were like just doing that, or if they were like planning to have a sequel at some point and then it didn't do very well, and so they decided not to. I'm not totally sure. It's not spoiling anything, but basically they literally just rip off the end of Jumanji with their post-credit scene.
Yeah, I don't think it needed bloopers or post credits.
Yes, I feel like it's very presumptuous to have bloopers in a movie that is this bad.
Yeah,
because the whole movie is basically a blooper. Okay, I'm good. I think if we want to go to Spoiler City.
Yeah, I'm already there. I've already zapped my clothes off, Val.
Whoa!
And by clothes, I mean tops, and I'm wearing this 5-year-old bra that I've had longer than we've been doing this podcast. Okay,
I've got my dance shoes on. They're full of smoothie and
I
no
hated
shirt.
That. All right, welcome to the synopsis, where I synopsize the synopsis. Okay, we open up on Zoe doing a speech at her mom's wedding. She's getting married to Ted and has 3 sons, Adam, Zach, and Ben, and they have a dog. And then, of course, hijinks ensue. And then Zendaya's covered in chocolate fondue, which probably would burn her skin if that actually happened. So, strike number 1, zapped. And then in my head, I was like, wouldn't they have been living together before this moment?
It was very Brady Bunch.
Yeah, it was very much like, we got married. We like met 2 weeks ago. We got married and now we're all living together under the same house. And he was like, we're family now. Call me dad. And you're like, I feel like this conversation would have happened before. I don't know.
I agree. The fact that she called him Mr. Thompson was weird as hell.
Yeah. And then like the boys are stealing her stuff, and then there's just a bunch of hijinks with the pancake juice that goes all over and the sauce. It's just like my worst nightmare. But then she has a heart-to-heart with mom about missing her dad, who's no longer with them, and he gave her this ornament that she really cares about. And then she's like, I don't know if I'm going to go to dance tryouts at this new high school. I haven't decided yet. And then I wrote, I think it's at this point where I'm questioning the interest mom has in this man, because they don't seem like 2 people who actually would have gotten together by the way that each individual lives.
They have nothing in common, literally.
So she's trying to get anyone's attention at this new school. It's kind of like in Mean Girls, where we see all the different tables, but imagine if all the different tables were just boys and it's outside of the school. And so she's like trying to get their attention and no one's paying attention. And I wrote, is this movie going to pass the Bechdel test?
Oh.
Which it does. But at that point I was like, oh my God, is it just her against the men? And then we meet Trip and he sucks. He's I'm sorry, dumbass. And then we meet Rachel, who essentially becomes her like new best friend at the school. We find out that Rachel likes Charlie and she kisses a picture that she has of him in her locker, but he doesn't even like know her. That was weird to me. I didn't love that.
Yeah.
And then we meet a guy in sunglasses and he does not look like he's in high school, but everyone's got a crush on him because he's our cold open, like lone wolf guy. And
he
he
literally
is
wears a beanie and like sunglasses inside.
tasked for some reason. He's the one who has to take her to her actual classroom because she had walked in the wrong one. And I wrote, he's got a wicked widow's peak. I mean,
he
like,
does.
Woo. And then he absolutely reads her to filth.
He does.
I mean, he's literally like, you're a piece of shit. But then this mean girl is like listening in, and everyone throughout the beginning of the movie so far is mentioning her phone addiction, that she like can't not be on her phone. And like, I absolutely can relate because of how much I play Disney Emoji Blitz. So I get it. And then he calls her nickname, he calls her smartphone. Ugh. And I wrote that this is a beautifully filmed. The camera angles are really nice. It's a very clear movie, but it's just a bad movie. So then we find out that everyone is auditioning for the dance team, and Rachel is also there as well. So they are, becoming friends even more. And she's dressed like 2008 Justin Bieber. And Zendaya, whose name is Zoe, but I'll probably just call her Zendaya, goes up to the mean girl. And she's like, hey, can I do the dance that I did that like got me to state? And she was like, no. So then she goes into her bag to get out her dance shoes, and they're covered in pancake juice. Once again, hate that. And Zendaya in her actual life is like not really dancing right now, but she should be, because she's an incredible dancer.
She's such a good dancer.
She is such a good dancer.
Moly.
She really should be, which I think Casey Undercover, or she was on another show on Disney Channel that she was a dancer.
Shake It Up. Is
Shake It Up. Shake It Up.
Yeah.
Shake It Up is the dance one. I was like, I know there's another one.
She's
but she
incredible.
should still be dancing because she's so good.
Incredible. Yeah.
But she's the only one who like picked up the dance after the mean girl only did it one time. So, but then like the mean girl, her ex-boyfriend, but she's like current, is Widow's Peak Jackson. So she doesn't let her on the team because she doesn't like her, because she saw them in the hallway together, like flirting but not flirting. She gets home. Her room is destroyed by the dog, including the sentimental castle from her dad. So she's really upset. So she's like, you, dog, suck for destroying my room. So she looks for an app on her phone that can control the dog. And she like talks into it. And it takes her voice and puts it at a higher frequency that the dog can understand. So basically, all of her commands he is hearing and listening to immediately. But then he steals her phone and drops it in the bath, and then the brother throws it out the window, and then it slides on the solar panels, and it has been zapped. And she finds it in the dog food bowl, which out of every dog I've ever met, I've never seen a dog leave food in a bowl. So,
and also it's like like a huge mound of food.
Mound of
outside.
wet food.
It's disgusting. There's no earthly reason why you would have that.
Yeah. So then her mom comes and is like, hey, I heard if you put your phone in rice, it'll make it work. So they put it in rice. The next day, her phone's working fine. But she's trying to get the app again to work on the dog. And it's not working on the dog, but it's working on who, Val? The mailman. And it's so funny. It's so funny. He's rolling over on the grass with the mail. And then it starts controlling the brothers. And then she starts controlling Trip, the weird guy from the beginning. So she finds out at this point, when she's talking to the mean girl, the app does not control women, just boys. So she can talk into the app and say, sit down, be nice, calm down. And the boys will listen. Mm-hmm. So she controls their group of guys we saw from the beginning. She controls Rachel's crush, Charlie, who is like, you like her. And so then he's telling all of his emotions to her, whatever.
Yeah. He was emotionally withholding. And then she's like, you're going to be emotionally open.
Yeah.
And then he
starts like sharing
Rachel.
Yeah. And so he's a little too clingy.
Yeah.
And then she makes Trip be nice. And so that's nice. Then she controls her brothers by saying, focus up. And so it completely changes their whole demeanor. And like the one starts cleaning, the one starts cooking, and Adam starts like
just staring at things.
Yeah. He's like taking things in mentally. But then she takes the dog to the park, and she sees Jackson reading alone in the park. And I think at this point she kind of realizes that he is someone that she doesn't need to control, which is nice. So it's very much like not all men.
But also he is such a caricature, like a 17-year-old boy just sitting in the park by himself in a leather jacket reading reading To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Specifically. Like,
for
what?
the women in the story. He explicitly is like, because she blah, blah, blah. I'm like, shut
Yeah,
the
he
fuck up.
has like some deep interpretation of
No,
To Kill a
you
Mockingbird.
don't. You don't. Yeah. So the boys are clean and polite now when she comes back home. The schoolboys are the same. The Charlie the Crush is doing too much. And they go to, so no one made the dance team. They all made the JV team. And there was a captain and he's like, I don't want to do it anymore. It's you, Zendaya. So then they make Zendaya the captain, and they are bad. They are not good dancers. So then she controls the boys and says, follow me. And they get it. And they're really good. So then we have a montage of a dance off between JV and varsity, and they go to the principal and she's like, I want JV to be the main team because we're better. And they're going to have a dance off competition at the basketball game. I also should mention the dad is the coach of the basketball team and Adam is the star of the basketball team. Mm-hmm. Jackson kind of asks her on a non-date date, and they go to the Pit Stop Diner. And then we cut back to, so she's like all nervous about her date that night. But then we cut back to the coach and stepbrother are like chill now. So we see like practice and it's like ruining the team. And then there's a Back to the Future reference, which was really weird. And I didn't like, where it was like, I think it was from Rachel, where she's like, you're going to have to stop your mom from falling in love with your dad or something. I don't know, it was weird. So then they get to the diner and he's playing chess because of course he is. And she gets super nervous because they had a conversation about how like boys are always competitive and girls are always like competitive with each other in another way. So,
oh yeah, I wrote that down. The exact quote was, that is so like boys to pretend to be competitive just to enjoy each other's company. And he said, oh, as opposed to girls who pretend to enjoy each other's company just to be competitive.
Ooh, yeah, he is so smart, Val. So then she gets nervous. So she's like, I need to be competitive. So she asks other boys through her phone to flirt with her so that they'll come up to the table and be competitive. And then the date ends really awkwardly because like they want to kiss, but they don't. Like they don't know if it was a date. There was a friends that was at this. Like we don't know yet. Mm-hmm. And then she comes home and she has a heart-to-heart with the brother, which was actually really sentimental. He kind of like pulled out of it for a second. It was really nice. Mm-hmm. She starts to turn everything back. And I wrote, there might be something of importance before this, but I was making lunch. So Val will have to fit it in.
I don't know. I think that I literally stopped taking notes after the date thing, and then I wrote, this is the worst I have ever felt watching one of these.
All right, so something happens between the heart to heart and when she starts to turn everything back. And neither of us cared.
Right. Basically, she can't turn everything back. Like, right. I think like she's starting to feel guilty. And so she's trying to like fix it, and it's just making it worse.
Yeah. Thank you, Val. So then the dance team wants to quit.
Maybe this is what it is.
Okay.
There's a scout. Adam's really concerned about getting into college. Mm-hmm. And they find out that there's a scout coming to this basketball game. Mm-hmm. And right now, because Adam is like under her spell, he literally can't play good basketball. Mm-hmm. So she has to figure out how to get him freed from this situation so that he doesn't suck.
Yes. So then the dance team is like, we really don't want to do this. This is sucking. Like we blah, blah, blah. And then she sabotages the boys on the other team through the app. And she's like mean to the mean girl. So her values are starting to change because of the app. Jackson sees her being mean to the mean girl and they have like a miscommunication. And then she says through the app, she says, kiss me. But then it's like awkward because he kisses her cheek. Ugh. And he's like, I don't know why I did that. She's like, I don't know. It was weird. I was hoping, which obviously this was not part of the storyline, I was hoping that he would be like, no. And he was someone who she couldn't control, but it didn't go that way. And he asked for space. He's like, I think we should not talk for a little bit. Val?
To that point, actually, one thing I was thinking throughout this whole movie is that they couldn't make this movie today, right? No. Because it's very gender binary. And I think that if they were to try to make some version of it today, they would have something like that, right? Because like, it's not one or the other, right? Like we're all kind of somewhere on a spectrum, and you would have to illustrate that, right? Like the fact that he is still vulnerable to it is like directly in contrast to the truth, which is that it's not a binary, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
And then Rachel, her best friend, even asks for space. She's like, this is getting weird and I don't really like this anymore. And then she finds out the college scout is coming to the game and he can't play right now. So she like rushes to the game to like try to put everything back together. She pulls the whole family to the side and is like, hey, this is what's happening. And she's like, I need help to fix this. I'm asking you for help and I apologize for doing this. But then when she's doing this, she can't find her phone. And so then, of course, who finds her phone? The mean girl finds her phone and uses the commands, and she's controlling the whole stadium, which is an awful scene.
Awful.
She tries to get her to stop, and the mean girl isn't accepting her apology, and she's super mean. She's controlling her family, and she does whatever, She's like, control me. And she goes, the phone won't control you. And she's like, I will literally beg. I will do whatever I can. So Zendaya just like gets on her knees and starts to beg. And then somehow her brother like magics himself out of the control and sits and does the same things. And then the dad magics himself out and the two younger brothers magic themselves out. And then Jackson does too. And I wrote, no, mom. Kind of weird. She was like in the beginning and then completely disappeared. But basically it's like, and I wrote, and somehow the power of love works. So it's like sticking together and being a family is what will combat the control.
They said there's a line early in the movie that says something like, you can't turn a dog against its pack.
Yes.
And so like the reason why the commands didn't work anymore was because it would require them to turn against their pack.
Yes.
Which is their family.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Val. That is very true. And I didn't care enough to write that down. So then I missed this part, why this was important, but she was like, the mascot's not a boy, and Rachel pulls the head off and she like pushes over the mean girl and grabs the phone. Was there a scene that I missed with the mascot?
No, I think that basically what she was saying is like you can't control the mascot and stop the mascot from
hitting you,
attacking you.
Okay. Then they were like, what kind of thing can I say into the phone that will, do it all? And she does like a release spell of like, I release you. And it's like, that's what this took. So you're that long to be like, I turn back it all. I don't know. She smashes the phone and quote, there's more to life than what's on the phone. And I disagree because I played Emoji Blitz. And then they make up, her and Jackson make up. He asks her on a real date. They still do the dance off, which I was like, oh my God, a big game and a big competition. This literally seems like a movie that
if you fed our bingo into an AI, this is
exactly what they would cook up. So they still do the dance off. Varsity goes first, which I thought, like obviously it's for the storyline, but like I feel like Varsity would have closed, but that's just me. They start with the Haka inspired dance, which I thought was nice because it wasn't the Haka, but they like were inspired by it and did like Haka / stepping, which was really cool. So then JV ends up winning. Family lives happily ever after. And then we cut to two people finding the phone in a trash can and saying, I wonder if it still works, which I hated. So that's the movie. You're welcome. Thanks for listening to me blab.
Thanks, Al.
You're welcome, Val.
I have nothing else to say. Let's go to the bingo.
I love that.
Bingo. I feel like we've been alternating. So would you like to start or would you like me to start?
I will do either. Why don't you start this week? Because I think I did. I think I started last week.
Okay. One hit wonder song. I
didn't notice any. There were Zendaya songs though, and I don't know that she's really known for all of her music, but maybe it's just because we're old and we don't know.
Yeah, and I would say she's definitely not a one hit wonder, like in that kind of way. Like that would require you to basically only know Zendaya for like a song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay.
Breaking the fourth wall or looking into the camera.
You could, I don't think no, I didn't see it.
No.
Holiday themed. No.
Clunky metaphor.
Yeah. The whole
movie.
The app is a metaphor.
Yeah.
Parents who just don't get it. Yeah, I mean, the dad doesn't really get. I mean, neither one of them really get it.
Yeah, her mom is like, you'll get used to it.
Right. Yeah, they're not doing great at the beginning.
Cool non-parent adult.
No. I mean, I guess maybe the principal, but she's not really.
Not in it for long enough.
Yeah. Someone too famous for a TV movie. I don't think so.
No. She was kind of right at that level where she should be in a TV movie, you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Competition to resolve central problem. Yes, 2.
Mm-hmm.
Double whammy.
A montage sequence. Yes.
Cliche villains. Mean Girl.
Yeah, the Mean Girl again.
Yeah.
Clothes or items you owned. I mean, I had a smartphone.
I still do.
There you go.
And I had on one of my phones a sparkly phone case.
Well, that's that. Then it definitely counts.
Okay. I got it at Woodfield Mall.
Nice. Love Woodfield Mall.
Rotten Tomatoes, 40 to 60%.
I'm going to guess 43.
Val, it's 43!
Seriously?
Have you ever gotten it on the dot?
I think I have one other time.
Oh my God, not for this movie. You did it, Val!
Wow.
I couldn't even hold it in. I was so excited. I screamed immediately. Valerie.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. That's amazing. You're so smart.
I've peaked.
Actually, yeah, it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, definitely. Happily Ever After. Yeah. I guess if you ignore the
we're ignoring
post-credit scene.
Almost Kissing. Yeah.
Yes.
After
Their date that wasn't a date.
Yeah.
Someone who became famous, Zendaya.
Yeah. I would also say Adam DeMarco.
Yeah. Not as much, but sure.
Yeah. Betraying of one's real friends or values.
Yeah.
She starts to, yeah.
Yes, she definitely starts to.
Yeah.
She gives into temptation.
Mm-hmm.
Narrator.
Thank God there's no narrator. I want the box, but not enough to have a narrator.
No.
Obviously, bad special effects or stunts.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like splooshy stuff that's really weird.
I really hated the shot from inside the fridge.
Yeah. And also her shoes when they're covered in pancake stuff. It's so fake looking. It's ridiculous. So, yeah.
Gross.
Disney Channel star.
Yeah. Zendaya.
Yeah.
Musical number. Do dance numbers count?
Have we counted a dance number before?
Remember.
I guess we can count it.
Woo!
Yeah.
Cool.
Magic. Yeah.
Yeah, there is magic in this one.
It's kind of science magic, actually.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to slide across a couple solar panels after dousing yourself in a bathtub and you'll get special powers.
That's right.
If anyone does that and doesn't get special powers, you can't blame it on me.
No, definitely not.
Someone says the title of the movie.
No.
No, I don't think so.
Never.
No.
Scooby Dude. Not
I mean,
really.
she figures it out, right? No,
I
she uses her
guess.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah. The heroes create the problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lead is a fish out of water. I guess kind of at the beginning.
She is because it's a new school. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
And having siblings too.
Yeah. I would say multiple ways. Val, we hated this movie, but we love this bingo. We have 3 bingos.
Oh my God.
Middle line down. Clothes or items you own. Rotten Tomatoes 40 to 60. Happily Ever After. Almost Kissing Someone Who Became Famous. And then we have our G and O lines. Clunky metaphor. Montage sequence. Almost Kissing. Disney Channel star. The heroes create the problem. And then the next one over is our O line. O-line football. Parents who just don't get it. Cliche villains. Someone who became famous. Musical number. And lead is a fish out of water. Wow.
We did it.
Amazing. All right, Val. Well, today for our game, because I hated this movie, we're just going to have a little chit chat and we're going to go look at our, this one's called Favorite and your favorite screen time. And so we're going to go look at our screen time on our phones and see what apps we use the most.
Oh, well, I can already tell you what mine are, but
I haven't looked at this. Like
Where is it
literally
again?
ever.
It's like, screen time.
Oh my God.
What?
My screen time was not on, so I have no tracking. I can't even play my game.
That's really funny.
Okay, it does say updating, so you go first and we'll see if something pops in there.
Okay. So this week so far, I have most used TikTok, which is no surprise.
Okay.
Next up is a game I play called Township.
Oh my gosh, I get
Farmville.
the ads during Disney Emoji Blitz, and I play the full Township ad game.
Which I should say, that game that you play in the ads has literally nothing to do with the
What?
actual game. Yeah. The actual game is basically Farmville, and also like the like Candy Crush, like, you know, Tetris kind of
well, that makes me
thing.
happy that I like playing the ad game and not the actual game.
Yeah, for sure.
That's funny.
The next app after that is actually my baby monitor app.
I knew that was coming.
And then it's like texts, Instagram, and then Gmail and Google Photos.
Okay. I think those all make sense. All right.
Yeah.
Well, mine does say updating. I don't know when it will be fully updated. So I will just go through what I think are my most used ones.
Okay.
So I would say Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, is probably number one. I spend a lot of time
Wow.
on Twitter, even though I hate a specific person who owns Twitter. I spend a lot of time on Twitter because I watch a lot of
Interesting.
reality television and I like seeing what people are saying about my shows. So I'll watch an episode like Severance and then go online
Yeah.
and see all the memes about Severance.
That's kind of what Michael does, but for sports.
On Twitter specifically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've tried Threads. I'm sure there's other things, but there's just
Blue Sky.
Yeah, there's just nothing. There's just something different. There's something different about Twitter. I think it's just because that's the one we've all been on.
Of course.
Yeah. Say Instagram is probably next. Spend a lot of time on
Okay.
Instagram looking at my own stories once I've posted it. I view that a lot. I can't say TikTok anymore because I deleted it during the ban because I kept clicking on it. So I deleted it and you can't re-download it. It's not in the app store.
I heard about this.
So I can still view TikToks in a browser, but I do not have access to browsing TikToks, which I'm not going to lie, everyone. I've been reading more books. So
Good for you.
yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Then I would say Spotify would be next. And then Emoji Blitz.
Nice. I have a time limit on TikTok.
Yeah,
of
I think
30
that's
minutes. I still break it all the time, but
Mhm.
like it at least yells at me.
Yeah.
And then every 15 minutes after that, it yells at me. if
That's
I, like,
nice.
blow past it. Yeah. Like Michael one time was like, why do you even have this if you just ignore it? I'm like, because every time it yells at me, I'm a little more likely to
Mhm.
stop.
All right. Yes, it is saying that it only updates from once you turn it on. So currently my most used app is the settings app.
Wow.
Because
Yeah,
that's
that
what
makes
I
sense.
currently have open.
Nice.
All right. Maybe if I remember, I'll update everyone in our next episode.
I
Which,
can't wait to hear.
thank you for sharing your screen time, Val. Everyone, go to your screen time, see if it's on.
Yeah.
Evaluate your life. Do you need more time on your phone or less time on your phone? Cool. Val, which leads me to, speaking of next episode, what are we watching next?
We are watching How to Build a Better Boy.
Oh, gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I have high hopes for this one.
Me too.
Mainly because I've seen it before.
Recently.
But yeah, that'll be a fun one for sure. And you all won't feel this, but we are recording this way in advance and then having a huge like hiatus between now and when we record the next episode. So, you know, we might repeat things or say things because we don't remember what we said. So
Very true.
Give us a break.
And
Be nice
something
to us.
crazy could happen over the next couple weeks. Like I win the lottery or Val
Whoa.
grows an extra toe and we're going to
Whoa.
get to be able to talk about it.
That's
Val,
true.
why are we taking a hiatus? Why don't you tell? And we're not taking a hiatus. Episodes will come out inconsistent.
Yes, episodes are
We've just-
uninterrupted.
yeah, we've
scheduled ourselves. Yes.
Yes. And because of why, Val, where are you going?
Well, we're going to Florida. And we are doing two things when we're in Florida. We're spending a week with Michael's family and we're going to Disney World. And it's Alice's first time going to Disney World. So that'll be
Yay.
a very exciting trip. I hope that she likes it. I think she will for the most part. And it'll be fun because she'll be with her 2 little cousins. They're 1, 2, and 3. So I think they'll have a good time. And and then we're gonna spend a week or a little over a week with my parents because they also live in Florida. So it'll be a nice trip, and we're basically not in Chicago for like 2.5 weeks, like more than, I think it's 18 days total.
Wow.
So, yeah, long time. Like to the point where we needed someone to like check our house and stuff. We haven't been away from home this long since the pandemic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Val, I mean, if you remember some earlier episodes, Val recorded a couple episodes in Florida because they spent like a month there.
We spent
on like
2 months at a time.
Multiple occasions.
Yeah. So we spent a total of like 4, maybe 5 months there. But it was broken in half and we spent like 1 month home. So we like basically we went there for Thanksgiving and then we basically just didn't leave. And then we came home for January and then we went back for like February through like the beginning of April.
Nice.
So yeah, we were in Florida with my parents for quite a bit. And it was actually really great. It was really great. And that is also when I discovered TikTok. Was when we were in Florida. I remember the very first time I went on TikTok.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
What a time.
What a time. Well, Val is gone. I'll be living my life doing the same thing I do all the time, which is living, laughing, loving.
Al, love you.
Love you.
I'll miss you.
I'll miss you.
And I'll see you soon.
I will see you so soon. I love you so much.
I love you so much.
Bye, Val.
Bye, Al. This podcast was produced by me.
And me.
And it was edited by me.
The music was composed by Michael McNally.
You can find us online at thetridentnetwork.com/dcommentaries-pod.
And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at dcommentaries.
Dcommentaries is a part of the Trident Network. To learn more about our videos, live shows, and other podcasts, please visit thetridentnetwork.com.
Disney Channel original movies.
Damn it, Allie.